Sairam, everybody, and welcome to this month's Connecting the Dots session. It's a very special month, and we have a very special group of presenters as well today. I hope you all had a very uplifting Aradhana Day celebration. We also had the Earth Day and we have one more coming up this Friday. So just, a lot of very special days in this month that's connected to Mother Earth and Swami. It's just so interesting. This morning, um, our SSE group, the center where I joined for the SSE, one of the teachers had posted reflections shared by a Group 1 student. Her name is Shreya. And it was just so sweet to read the reflection on what she starts by saying, "Guess what I did on Earth Day?" She went for a beach cleanup with her father, and then she talks about how she saw lots of trash on the beach, and then she imagines how it must affect these animals if they eat and they might die from it. So we have to make a very, very special effort to throw the trash into the bins. But it just, just the way she shared and the impression that it made makes you realize that, among many things, number one, for children to have a direct experience of the things that we talk about in class, it has a profound impact on them. The second is, something that we constantly are reminded, and which kind of led to this, month's theme as well, which is back to the future. Is we share our future with our children, and they have a much longer way to go. So it's important that we make absolutely every effort possible to protect and nurture and cherish and be grateful for this beautiful home that God has blessed us with. So with that, I want to welcome all of you again, and it is my absolute delight to introduce Sister Manjula, who is our Region 5 Education Coordinator. Over to you, Sister Sairam.
Sairam Aparna, thank you so much. My humble pranams at the lotus feet of our beloved Bhagavan. Region 5 has been greatly blessed by Swami. We have sincere SSE students, more than around 850, 900 students, 125 dedicated teachers, and very supportive parents. Here in Region 5, we also have an SSE student council with representation from 10 centers, and you will be hearing a bit about it today in the session that our children are going to be talking about. So sharing the reflections today are Brother Suresh Rama and 3 of our wonderful SSE4 students from the Detroit Metro Satya Sai Center. Brother Suresh is currently the SSE coordinator for Detroit Metro Sai Center. Over the years, Brother Suresh has taught Group 3 and 4. In Detroit Metro, we are very blessed. It's really one of our largest Sai centers in Region 5. We have a great SSE program with over 100 students and 28 teachers. Brother Suresh has also advised our Region 5 Student Council in the past. Brother Suresh Rama is known for his ever-smiling face and the engaging way in which he attracts and interacts with students overall. Students really all the way from SSE 1 to SSE 4 love to interact with him. He is also an engineering business development professional. With this, Brother Suresh, on to you.
Sairam, Sister Manjula, thanks for that very generous and loving introduction. My most loving and humble and grateful pranams at the divine lotus feet of our beloved Bhagavan Sri Satya Sai Baba. Swami, please be with us today, guide us, guide all the children that do your work so sincerely, and you have lit the light in their hearts to do the right thing in your path, in your service to become future Sai leaders. Please guide them. Sairam. Sairam, everyone. Hope you're all having a great day so far. I know for some of you in the East Coast, it's very late, but some of you in the West Coast, you just may be starting your evening and just got off your tea. But nevertheless, we're here today to talk about some of the inspirational work that our SSE 4 Group 4 students have done. And we wanted to share in their own words their experience of contributing to what we celebrate this month as the Earth Month. And we just finished our Earth Day last Friday. And in that light, we're going to share what we have done and how the Region 5 effort has also inspired us to go do that. To do that, I'm going to bring upon 3 students. I'm going to introduce each one of them if they can be pinned, and if you could also come on camera as I introduce you. I'd like to first introduce Anurag Komaragiri. Anurag is actually the leader for the Region 5 Student Council this year. He's been with the Student Council in Region 5 for the last 3 years. And he's an SSE 4 student who's a junior and really swamped with a lot of work. I know APs are coming, and still he made time today to be with us. And if I were to pinpoint on one thing about Anurag that I would like to remember him for, is his melodious voice and his creativity in creating music. It's not only about singing, he also creates music. And many of you may have seen the Region 5 contribution on the Brotherhood song, and Anurag actually composed as well as collated that song in the audio side. But I want Anurag to also have a chance to say a few words about himself. Anurag, go ahead, and I would like to at least have you say something that you did exciting or you're proud of or you consider it an achievement in your high school days that's outside of your SSC.
Uncle. My humble pranams at the divine lotus feet of Bhagavan Sri Sathya Sai Baba. Thank you all so much for having me today. One thing that I'm very proud of is my experience in my school's theater program. In our previous production, I was selected as the male lead of that show, and that was quite the experience. It really took, music, as you were saying, to a totally different level for me, and I'm very grateful for that. Apart from that, I also do robotics, and I'm in a couple other music things, including composition, as you said, and my school's orchestra as well.
Thank you very much, Anurag. I know you're a very busy man, and we'll try to use the best use of your time, okay? Next, I'd like to introduce Prayag Shankar. Prayag Shankar is also a SSE Group 4 student at the Detroit Metro Science Center. He's a senior. And Prayag has been with us, so has Anurag from Group 1, and has gone through the entire SSE program. And Prayag is now off to college as soon as he graduates. So Prayag, why don't you introduce a little bit about yourself again? Say some good accomplishments so everybody gets to know you a little bit outside of what you do for SSE.
Salam everyone. My humble pranams at the beloved feet of Bhagavan Sri Sathya Sai Baba. My name is Prayag. I'm a senior, and some kind of things that I like to do out of school mainly revolves around basketball. For me, I love playing sports and love watching sports. I was able to play for my school basketball team, so that's kind of the thing I enjoy doing out of school.
Yeah, you can't see it, but Prayag is pretty tall, like most basketball players. And Prayag, if you would like to share, what school have you decided to go to, and what do you want to pursue?
I'll be going to Michigan State University, and I'll be studying political theory and constitutional democracy there.
Wow, that's a mouthful. I can't even repeat what you just said, but I'm pretty sure you're going to change the world as you go forward in your life. Thank you very much for joining us, Prayag. Last but not the least, I would like to introduce Pranav Sai Rama. I can say that I've known Pranav ever since he was born. I'm proud to say that I'm his father. And ever since he came to this world, I've carried him. And also, he's a SSE Group 4 student, and he's a junior. He goes to International Academy, following the International Baccalaureate program. Pranav, would you like to say a few words about your interests in high school beyond SSE?
Yeah, so like beyond SSE, I do a few clubs here and there, like everyone else. But main things I do robotics. I was able to help start like a new rookie team, and I was able to help like 9th and 10th graders learn about electrical and like how to fabricate things for the robot. Also, I'm also a Boy Scout working towards my Eagle rank, and I participate in my school's orchestra during the day and like a small ensemble group after school as well. So
excellent, Pranav. It looks like you're also another busy man. And all of these students have been very busy, but then again, they are here to talk about what they have done and what inspired them to do what they did. And let me start with you, Anurag and Pranav. You both served in the SSE Student Council for a few years. And in 2020, when I had the honor of being your advisor, you basically started a program, which unfortunately, since the onset of COVID, you had to cancel. So could you elaborate a little bit about that program, what it was about, what inspired you to start that, and how it finally got transpired into what it became?
So I can go ahead. Basically, the inspiration for this initiative, we wanted to make, first of all, this was our e-waste initiative that we did back in 2020.
What is e-waste, Anurag?
I'm glad you asked. E-waste is actually what we call, electronic waste. Electronic waste is, anything that, like any electronic device, basically, whether that may be phones, batteries, chargers, and this stuff is usually thrown away. But they do have the potential to be repurposed, salvaged, and recycled. And so this stuff is very important because when it's not recycled properly, there are a lot of environmental effects of this. And ultimately, if this continues, then it becomes a major threat for humanity, actually, because there are many health concerns that are associated with e-waste and the deposition of e-waste into the environment. So it is a very important thing, and so that was kind of our goal. Trying to make a small difference or even a big one. At any scale, it still makes a difference. And so, following the theme of saving the environment, helping out humanity in any way possible, we decided to try and do an e-waste initiative for the retreat in 2020, September 2020. Of course, as you said, because of COVID, we were not able to do that project, unfortunately. But and because of that, we did end up putting that aside during that year. And what happened was in the 2021 Student Council, which actually started late 2020, we decided to bring back that idea, and we revived it in a different way to adapt to the pandemic.
Great, great. And I think you and Pranav both created a presentation, which I'm going to put up in a little bit. But Pranav, could you share what was some of the planning that went along in orchestrating this, and how did it transpire? Basically, we were all affected by COVID, so you couldn't get together in collecting all those e-waste. So what happened?
yeah, so adding on to Anurag, and like Anurag was saying, that because it was now COVID time, it was actually, in a good sense, it brought a lot more awareness to e-waste because now everyone was using technology for all their meetings, all their classes, and everything like that. So essentially what we did was we had different collection points because our Detroit Metro Center consists of many different locations and many different groups of people that come from different cities. So we had one collection point in a city called Novi and one collection point in a city called Troy. And in those two location points, members could drop off their e-waste to that person's house, respectively, closer to where they live. And eventually we had a deposit day where it was also advertised and made aware of to the members, so then they could come drop off all their waste, and eventually we would go take it to a specialized e-waste recycling center.
So what I didn't understand is, like, you started it at the region level, right? And then you talked about the center. So Anurag, can you connect the dots here for us?
Of course. So in terms of, planning at the region, doing it at the center, we kind of scaled it in a way that we had all the planning done at the region. So us as a student council, we met, we planned how it would be done for each center. And then we went and presented this very presentation that you're seeing at the center members, at the center level, to the center members and the center officers. At that point, us student council members decided to collaborate with our service coordinators and EnviroCare champs, if the center had one, which a good majority of centers do have EnviroCare champs. And at that point, we collaborated, we established those collection points. And so from the region planning, we took it to the center level and, did it as a collective.
Excellent, excellent. Thank you, Anurag. That really made it more logical in that you did planning, but since you couldn't all get together for retreat like you planned, you decentralized it to the centers, and the centers had to run it. But then, Pranav, can you tell us how did you communicate this through to the officers? How did they help you, or did they drive the program?
Yeah, so that's a good question, actually, because we had to kind of experience and figure out how to work with the officers to communicate with the members. So first off, through this presentation that you're now showing, Anurag and I went to the end of one of our center budgeting sessions that was going online, and we essentially brought awareness to this project and informed all the members about what e-waste was and how they can help with this project. So an informal awareness of this project. And then we also communicated with our service coordinator, and he was able to help us communicate to all the members through WhatsApp groups and through email,
Great.
essentially reminders. So
excellent. And I think there are some pictures of I think what you guys collected, I guess, right? But Anurag, can you also talk about this? I think there was an SSIO article on this also, right? About the entire center's effort, the North Central region, which is Region 5's effort in order to do this project.
Yeah, we were actually, in fact, we were featured on this, in this article. Basically, we were recognized nationally for our efforts, and we also have some of our pictures. They recognized that this project definitely took several months, and the transferring from this project being in person at the retreat to being virtual, it goes into specifics, and it's really great because it shows that even if we did it at the center level and then we brought it as a collective in the region, we can really make a difference, or we can show people that if these things matter, these things, if everybody does it, then it gets a lot of attention, and maybe it can inspire people to do it in the future.
Talking about inspirations, that's where I want to introduce Prayag. Prayag, you started another initiative, and that was in late 2021. Can you kind of go through the genesis of the idea, what inspired the SSE for students, and why did you jump in to take the lead on that?
Yeah, go. So our kind of theme and one of our lessons that we had this past year was respect for the environment. And we actually had one of our center uncles, Ravi Adibutla uncle, he came in to teach us about e-waste and the harmful effects that Anurag also went over earlier. So after that, we all kind of felt like as a group we needed to do something, and we decided to run a project over like the holiday time. So everyone would be getting their new devices anyway. So like throw out your old devices, get rid of your e-waste, and help the planet out. So that's where we were as a group. And then for me personally, this was kind of one of my opportunities that Suresh Uncle, you actually came up to me and kind of talked about with me. I guess I just had a little bit of experience with previous service projects, and
Yeah, tell us a little bit about what you did the previous year, right?
yeah, the previous year before that, we ran a collection drive for care packages for a homeless shelter in downtown Detroit. So we reached out to our center, and with all the help of our center, we were able to collect a bunch of basic necessities that people could use at the homeless shelter. And then all of the SSE kids, in a really cool effort, we all came together to package everything into small care packages, and we were able to deliver it to the homeless center. And that project was a really gratifying experience for me because it was one of my like first projects with the experience of lead. And then obviously Suresh Uncle came to me with this opportunity. So I thank him for that.
No, I think it's basically Swami led me to you because you were wanting to go and join the student council, Region 5. There were 4 nominees already from Detroit, and you were looking for more leadership opportunities. And I said, "Dear, right here in our own center, you have the opportunity." And you took the lead and you led this. And this is a presentation I think you and Pranav put together. So could you walk us through a little bit about this was a little different than what Anurag presented to raise awareness a year ago, right? So I don't want you to just present this, but anything different or anything that you learned out of Ravi Uncle's lecture that you added here?
Yeah, actually, that was my main source of facts for this presentation. Our lesson with Ravi Uncle was really informative. So I basically put down bullet points here. Just super simple for people to understand what e-waste is. And then obviously this slide was talking about everything that counts as e-waste. So you see at the bottom there, dig into your closets, garages, cabinets, etc. We really with this project tried to encourage our center members to like bring out their e-waste, bring out all the old devices that you have, and help out the environment.
Excellent. And Pranav, I want to go to you. I just wanted to highlight, like, what was the planning difference? You were involved in the planning for the 2020 and then now the 2021. What was the difference? Were there some lessons learned from 2020 that you applied on 2021?
Yeah, so essentially one of the main differences between the first one and now our individual center-led initiative was we set up like more collection points. So for the first drive, we had 2 collection points, one in Novi and one in Troy. And then for this one, we set up 4 collection points. One place being in Troy, which I was the drop-off point, one in Bloomfield Hills area, which Neil was the drop-off point. One was in Novi, which Srinidhi was the drop-off point. And then, is that all for it? I think so.
No, the Canton one.
Oh, Canton. And Prayag was Canton. Yeah. So essentially now with 4 places, we found out that people were like a lot more willing to like drive and go drop off e-waste, which was actually something that we took away from this project, that setting up more drop-off points has some pros and cons, which we'll get into later, but definitely it led more people to bring more e-waste.
Excellent. So now you're talking about bringing more e-waste. So Prayag, how did you measure how much you collected? Like, and can you give us a kind of a idea of how much was collected, how much was taken and dropped off?
Yeah,
Totally.
Uncle. Our center went big on this one. Really proud of that. We were able to measure our e-waste in carloads. So we had about 5 carloads, and then a 6th carload, which was just mostly a TV, but so close to a carload. So yeah, super thankful that all of our members came out and showed so much support for not only our project but the environment.
You're talking about the big TVs, the big back projection TV that took up the entire car. That's
Yeah.
the one. Yeah, I still have one of those, and I don't know how to dispose that off from my basement. Maybe you guys can help me out with that. Anyway, that's great. And here's one of the drop-off location points. So Pranav, as a last reflection, right? I think there was one group student who did an inspired work, Valli Nagamalli. Can you kind of highlight on what she did different and how did she go about doing it?
Yeah, so I can talk about Valli and how she had a significant impact as well. So a part of her first robotics Lego League, which is like the elementary school tier of robotics, but still under the same program that Anurag and I do robotics for. So under that, she and the rest of her teammates went in her neighborhood and actually raised awareness and went to go collect batteries from all the neighbors and nearby houses, because most people just throw batteries away without knowing that they have to be recycled. So they were able to bring awareness and also collect all these batteries, and people were more than willing to like give up all the batteries that they had just saved up. So
Plus,
they
this was
brought
also another way
boxes.
of like maybe making them aware of e-waste, right? I think they collected
Yeah.
quite a bit of e-waste along with it. So it
Yeah.
was more like a trick or treating for batteries. And it was an interesting concept that Wally came up with. And that was another inspiration to get more of the younger kids engaged. And I think you guys did a great job in inspiring them. So they're going to become Group 4 students one day and lead an initiative similar to what you guys did. So thank you very much for giving them the opportunity and getting them also involved in this. I don't think we stopped there, right, Anurag? You did another one leading at the Region 5 Council, Student Council. They just finished an e-waste drive. Do you want to just end this presentation with a little bit of that? Because I think that was already presented in the Science Sustainability Forum a little bit on, but some of our audience today may not have joined in that program. So why don't you give a little bit of a highlight of what happened, the recent effort for Region 5 Student Council?
Yeah, of course. So yeah, we did have a couple of representatives from the Student Council talk about it a bit early on, but we did have an initiative this year for, actually for Earth Day a couple days ago. Just in time for that, we finished about 2 weeks ago. And this initiative was very similar to the initiatives that we've just heard, or more similar to the one that we did in 2020. However, the difference this time, as per request from the national team, was to reach out to the communities and get e-waste from those places. So we just did that, very similar, of course, to a couple years ago. But yeah, we did get a decent turnout. Even in Detroit, after Prayag stole the show, it was kudos to him, definitely. But yeah, of course, another thing that we could take away from this is that there's never enough,
Yeah.
There's never too much.
As a last comment, I want to not miss this, because I think all of you learned a lesson along the way. Prayag, you basically interacted with the government officials. Can you give a very brief 1-minute overview of what happened there and why you had to call the government in order to dispose of e-waste.
Yeah, Uncle. So as you guys saw in the slideshow, we had 4 different locations, and unfortunately, the e-waste recycling center that we were planning on dropping our stuff off to is not located in either of the suburbs of Detroit that we had set up our collection sites in, and obviously we lived in. So I was actually able to reach out to the recycling center and inform them of the amount of waste that we had and that it was not practical to drop off all of that e-waste and pay for all of it as well. So then they directed me to our county's public services department, and they informed me about this program that our county had, that they would give you a voucher to basically drop your e-waste off for free at this particular recycling center. So I was able to reach out to the county and obtain this voucher, and then obviously thanks to Swami, we were able to drop off all the e-waste for free. But one of the main lessons that I learned from interacting with the government is that reaching out to people, and especially the government, where people can get stuff done for you, is a really useful tool to have when running these kind of projects where you need to drop off stuff and move stuff like this.
Excellent reflection by all of you, but we're out of time. So I think at this time, we'll conclude our presentation. Thank you very much for the opportunity, Sister Manjula and Sister Aparna. I think we may be ready for some questions if there are any.
We do have one question out here. Once collected, how is it recycled?
That's a great question. Does any of you want to take a shot at it, or?
Yeah, I can take a shot at that. So we kind of learned this through our Group 4 presentation that was given to us. But after we drop it off at the centers.
This is the Ravi uncle's presentation you're talking about?
Yeah, this is Ravi Adibatla uncle, who works in this field. So I kind of learned this from that. So after we sort it out at the recycling centers, because the batteries go in a separate area, the circuit boards and any electrical components go in a separate area, and any appliances like kettles or kitchen microwaves, all that is considered scrap metal. So in those 3 categories, then it is sent to a specialized recycling center where those old metal pieces are heated up and taken off, and then the rest of the circuit board is essentially broken down, because that can be remelted silicone and reused. So yeah, essentially it needs to be sent to a specialized center, and all that is either ground up or melted and then shipped off to other companies, which then can reuse it and sell it to big tech companies so they can use that to make their circuit boards and things like that. So
thank you, Pranav. Thanks for sharing that. Are there any other questions, sister?
Not at this point.
Okay.
If we have a minute, Anurag, can you mention some of the environmental ideas that, again, the Student Council was planning for the retreat? Because I see a number of aunties and uncles have put in messages about old T-shirts and things to be done with old T-shirts.
I am very glad that you all are thinking about these things, because you will have a pleasant surprise for what we are planning. We do have 2 ideas that are on the table right now. Manjulanti, if it's okay if I share these?
You have 1 minute.
Okay, yeah, 1 minute. So we do have one idea for dog toys, and of course we do use old T-shirts that people no longer use, and we have a procedure for this, and essentially we'll collect these over the summer, and in time for the retreat, we'll gather them and bring them to the campsite, and we'll do, we'll have the SSE children do some cool, make some cool dog toys out of them, and we'll eventually donate those. So
Anurag, maybe I'm the ignorant one. What is a dog toy? A toy that looks like a dog?
no, but I would love a toy that looks like a dog. Actually, dog toys are toys for dogs.
Sorry.
They play with them. I don't have a dog. I don't know. Manjulanti, I'm sure you have some experience with this. Too much experience with this. But yeah, so that's one of our ideas. Another idea is that we're going to implement this season is a crayon collection. We're going to collect crayons and donate them to a company that repurposes them and recycles them properly. So those are two ideas. Get yourselves excited for this and start gathering your t-shirts and your crayons. Yeah, that's all I have to say. You'll get more information about this for sure.
Wonderful. So I have 3 questions, and maybe each of you can take up one. It's up to you who wants to answer what. The first question is, what did you learn about yourself? Second question is, what did you learn about planet Earth? And the third question is, if you had a choice to do something different, what would you do? And you just have to answer one question. So whoever goes first gets to answer their favorite question. So I'll repeat it. What did you learn about yourself? What did you learn about planet Earth? And if you had a choice to do something different, what would that be?
I can go first and answer that last question, Auntie. So for me, one of the main things, since we are running such a big project over 4 different locations, the main thing for me was communicating to people and reaching out to obviously my partners, who Pranav mentioned earlier, Srinidhi, Neil, Pranav, and myself. Obviously, communicating with our group was a big thing because we had so much waste spread out over so many locations. And then like getting that waste was also a big project of communicating with my teammates and obviously the recycling center and the government, which I talked about earlier. And I, going into this project, way underestimated the amount of communication it would take to run something like this. So I'm not going to lie, it created a lot of stress in the last couple of weeks when we were sitting with 5 carloads at each house, all like staring at each other like, what do we do now? But yeah, thanks to Swami, it worked out in the end. I learned my lesson of how to get stuff done by talking to everyone and keeping everyone in the loop. So yeah, that was my one thing that I would change.
Thank you, Parag.
I can go next. I'll answer your question about what I learned about myself. Also answer another question briefly. So one thing I learned about myself was that, if I take the right steps, then I can make a difference. That's what I've learned being on the student council and doing this project back in 2020. And this is what I've relearned being the lead of the student council and doing this project this year. It doesn't matter who you are. It doesn't matter, what position you have. You can do anything you want, and anything that you're committed to, anything that you love. Key thing is love. Anything that you love, you can do. And that's another thing that I've learned about people. If people have the right motivation to do things, they will do it. And one of these motivations is service. Service does bring people together because, what is the root of service? Once again, it's love for people, love for the environment, love for planet Earth, and love for oneself, honestly, because, if you love what you do, if you love yourself, then you'll do anything to, protect what you love. And so part of that is planet Earth, keeping everybody safe, keeping everybody healthy. So that's what I've learned about myself and learned about other people.
Beautiful. Thank you, Anurag.
Okay, I'll try to be quick with the last question. What have I learned about like planet Earth? So, or Mother Earth. I think one major thing, kind of adding off of like Anurag's answer, right? So, like, despite that the Earth will outlive us no matter what we do to it, but it's important that we show like love to the Earth, and essentially by doing that, we're showing love to like others and ourselves as well by like setting up a better environment for like generations and our lives in the future as well. So yeah, that's just like awareness is like I think really important when it comes to things about Mother Earth and all that, because a lot of people just don't know. And once you tell them, they'll be willing to take action, but they just don't know sometimes. So yeah, I think that's important.
Beautiful. Thank you, Pranav. I want to thank all of you. And if our participants wants to use either the chat or the reactions, just to give a round of applause and kudos to our children for the wonderful work they are doing. And we are secure in our future because of the example that they are setting for us now. I think for me personally, I generally think about the 3 R's, which is reduce, reuse, and recycle. I'm going to add the 4th R, which I learned from our children, which is being resourceful. And when I think about resourceful, what you're basically doing is going back to the source and trying to fill all our lives with the source. So that's wonderful to be resourceful, and maybe this will inspire all our teachers to kind of actively engage with our children, depending on which group they're a part of, give them opportunities, to make a difference in all our lives. So with that, we want to thank everybody for joining us. We especially want to thank Anurag, Pranav, and Prayag. Prayag, good luck starting college. And we also want to thank Brother Suresh and Sister Manjula. So if you all can just stay for a couple of minutes for the closing prayers, I'll pull it up now. Have a wonderful rest of your week, and we'll see you again next month. Sai Ram.
असतो मा सद्गमया तमसो मा ज्योतिर्गमया मृत्योर्मा अमृतं गमया Oh